Welcome to another episode of The Pickpocket. Here at The Pickpocket, we utilize the NBA category in the Fanduel app to help you win money. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and also be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. And if you are new to the channel, be sure to read this particular page right here. Thank you, good luck with your lineups, and happy Tuesday. Alright, mock lineup. If you're new to the channel, feel free to use 90% of a mock lineup that we provide for you guys and substitute players where you see fit to get your own taste for your own lineup. Lonzo Ball has stepped up in a major way lately, and this matchup versus Houston would usually be a tough one, but they have been gracious to point guards this season. Second most FDP all season. DeJounte Murray is coming off 8 steals last night. That's not why he's back on here. His salary, his ability to get rebounds and score make it tough not to get him. Josh Jackson versus Brooklyn. Yes, sounds crazy, but remember this. Kyrie could be out, no KD, and the Nets create highways to the basket. They are on pace to have the worst defense in NBA history. Jackson will have to do a lot with Detroit guards down left and right. Burks was tough to pick. He has been good for about 20 FDP in a game. It's the cool down of quickly that makes us confident in picking Burks. Jimmy Butler has come back with a vengeance. He went off for 40 FDP since he's been back in the lineup. Tobias Harris' salary is crazy for a reason. It's Simmons and Embiid, then Harris. His scoring makes him easy to pick, but his rebounding and a couple assists are great too. Oh, and they're going against Sacramento. That definitely helps a lot. Power forwards are awful if you aren't paying up for them. Covington will have the slight chance to go off. Covington will have the chance to go off versus Orlando. Non-existent defense. Daniel Tice is the same. He may get slightly over his average, but anything more is a plus. Rudy Gobert versus Boston with no real bigs makes him too easy. Good for his average between blocks, rebounds, and lobs. He can see a good night. Hitter per position lineup. Ben Simmons is always a triple-double. Ben Simmons is always a triple-double threat. Sacramento is one of the worst defenses in the league. They allow the second most points in the league. Being such a high usage player, he's the hitter for the point guard position. Kemba Walker will soon be back to hitter status, with Brown possibly being out again. We are going to ride with him. If Brown returns, it may increase his value. DeMar DeRozan somehow finds his spots on the floor for mid-range shots and still racks up assists. He's an easy pick because he's easy to get his average. Tyler Hero has slowed down a little since Jimmy Butler has returned, but in what should be a good game, he still has high usage when he's on the floor and does everything. Joe Harris will contribute to a little of everything with injuries to the stars for Brooklyn. Plus, Detroit struggles guarding the three-point line, allowing the third highest percentage for three-pointers. That being said, remember, Brooklyn Dana has the worst defense ever. Grant is still Detroit's number one option. His usage this game should be crazy. Zion is Zion. If Houston couldn't stop Miles Bridges from a double-double, yikes. That means Zion could potentially eat if he stays out of foul trouble and doesn't get ejected and things like, all the things that can happen in an NBA game. Jeff Green makes this look sort of like a stack for this game, but it's worse. But it's worst team in the league it's the worst team in the league that he's facing, and his team has injuries to step in for. Derek Favors, yes, shocking to see him here. Again, Boston isn't exactly a big team. Favors is good for his average. He's that value player if you need to fill in the center position. Two most expensive lineup. You got Harden and you got Embiid. All right, Nunn is filling in for the injured Dragic. Yeah, Kendrick Nunn is filling in for the injured Dragic. Played well in this spot lately. Worth the look for this game. Again, Lonzo Ball is facing Houston. FDP friendly defense. Look what his brother did to them last game. Gary Trent finally made it here. The second highest scorer for Portland. He has to do well. Otherwise, it leaves Lillard on an island. Bogdanovic fills in here for Utah. He is good for above his average. He plays healthy minutes and does everything from shoot to rebound to assist. Duncan Robinson is simply here for value. He shoots good, you're in for a good night. It's his ability to at least get a few boards along with his shooting that makes his value good. Rudy Gay comes off the bench and gives you exactly what his average says. It was tough to fit Draymond Green, who can get you more, but for 5K off the bench, not bad to pick Rudy. Chuma Okeke. I hope I'm saying that right. Chuma Okeke has been playing better than Birch. For Orlando. Again, the power forward pool is awful. Pay up and go into value in other places. Okeke. All right. Player per game lineup. So this isn't the best mock lineup, but here it's out. Yes, high chance Sacramento gets obliterated and Fox doesn't go crazy. It's also possible he gets his numbers to help the game stay close. Anthony has more on his shoulders with no Fournier out there, and Ross still trying to find his rhythm. Bruce Brown is facing his former team. His former team that traded him for a box of chocolates. We think with the injuries to the Nets, he should see more minutes and try his best to show out. Jordan Clarkson has cooled down from that high FTP average he had early on. However, Boston isn't the defensive juggernaut they used to be, especially with no Marcus Smart. Brandon Ingram versus Houston will be fun to watch because they will have no answer for his skill set. He can score anywhere on the floor and his length will be a problem for them. Keldon Johnson didn't have the best game last night. He didn't even reach his average. Let's try and run it back. Julius Randle carries that team, period. Nothing more, nothing less. He'll get his average. Draymond Green, the rebound and assist machine. So, that's why we put him in there. Mason Plumlee rebounds and assists well, and Brooklyn defends poorly. Good matchup lineup. This lineup isn't meant to take and use. We are showing you what player have the best matchups based on FDP. Only exceptions were Simmons and Mitchell. While those teams might not seem to allow a lot of FDP, Mitchell is facing a Marcus Smart and possibly Jaylen Brown-less team. Simmons is facing a team that allows a ton of points, meaning boards, assists, and dunks and layups for him. The rest of this presentation, you are going to see these symbols. The definition of these symbols are going to do a lot of the explaining for you. So be sure to either come back to this particular page right here or take a picture on your phone so it's easy for you to follow along. Cheat sheet. Sleepers here, you got Jackson, Harris, and Okeke. I hope I'm saying the name right. Okeke. Jackson is playing a historical bad defense. He's going to see a lot of usage. Harris will also see good minutes versus Brooklyn. Harris will also see good minutes as Brooklyn has stars out and Detroit gets the three-point line, guard the three-point line like it's not there. They guard the three-point line they're pretty bad. Okeke is facing a poor Portland team and he's filling in for hurt Gordon and an underperforming Birch. All right, position stack. Remember we said the forward position was tough. We tried to situate it. You didn't really think we'd forget about Vooch. Vooch has been on a tear lately. He's going against Portland. I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to scorch them if he stays out of foul trouble and whatnot. All right, this is the end of the presentation. Be sure to like the video. Be sure to comment any questions or concerns. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. And thank you for choosing another episode of the Pickpocket DFS.